Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. I don't see any. Approval or amendments of meeting agenda. Be it resolved that council approve the agenda of the regular meeting dated August 16, 2022 as presented. A mover and a seconder, please. Angela and Doug. Is there any amendments or approvals? Approval, any amendments to the agenda? None? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Approval of minutes. Be it resolved that council approve the following minutes as presented. Committee of the whole meeting, August 2nd, 2022. A mover and a seconder also. Pat and who? Doug, Pat and Doug, okay. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor? Thank you. Any business arising from the minutes? None. Inquiries from members of the general public? See any? Delegations and presentations? None. No business arising from the delegations. Items for council direction. 9.1, we have a motion to authorize funds for Cobalt Fire Department to put forward possible purchase of a used fire truck. Be it resolved that a designated reserve be set up for replacement of fire equipment by relocating $50,000 from $181,732 2021 working reserves. A mover and a seconder, Angela and Pat. Any discussion on the motion? Go ahead.
Yeah, after our meeting and after we decided we would try and look at that, Pat and our fire chief and Steve suggested that it's the nature of these auctions for fire equipment to go very quickly. Mm-hmm. And if they don't have cash in hand to make a commitment at that point in time, then they continuously lose out to people who do have cash in hand. So I'm just wondering if we could word this so that it would meet that standard, that if they attend an auction, that we authorize the fire chief and the mechanic to purchase it.
Okay, I'm not sure what, the money will be there. We've set aside for it.
Set aside, yes, but if they want to access it, as it now stands, as I see it, then they would have to come to council, and council would have to approve the request, and then the money would be approved and it would go down. But that would be a process that might not let you buy the equipment you want to buy.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how else we could do that. We'd have to look into it.
Attend and purchase.
Pardon?
Authorize them to attend and purchase.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, I think that's the fastest way to be able to get a fire truck.
Yeah, we need one, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And with all due respect, I'm no expert. I don't know who we would go to ask if that's a good deal that we're proposing to do other than them.
Oh, we have
our resident experts.
Yeah, we have a pretty competent mechanic on site on hand, and the firefighters and our chief does know quite a bit about fire trucks. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They won't get any better news from us, I don't think.
So what would you like to do with this motion? And we can still approve this motion and then find a way of having that money earmarked for that.
Or just throw a comma after equipment and maybe throw in available on demand to the fire chief and his department. Something like that.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, go ahead.
So right now it reads, be it resolved that needed reserve be set up for the replacement of fire equipment for reallocating $50,000 from 181,732 2021 working reserves, and then put in your statement about the money being available for immediate purchase.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Did you add that to that, Steve?
Does that make sense?
Probably available to the fire chief or his designate.
Yeah, I understand your dilemma there too, and I understand the fire chief's dilemma because Bonnfield gets mixed out on one.
Exactly.
Same reason, yeah. Okay, so
this is also, they also have the online auction as well. Mm-hmm. So the funds will be available for them at that time because they go on very quickly.
Right.
Yeah. So this way we will ensure that the fire department has funds.
Mm-hmm.
As well as they said they would be also contributing $10,000.
Yes. All I'm suggesting is that we make it pre-approved for them to act, rather than having to come to us That's right. Heaven forbid you're away with the flu or something, not COVID, but the flu.
Understood.
Yeah.
What were you saying here?
I said, we'll go buying a new one and just make a payment.
Well, we should not allow, I guess it's not up to us to indebt the new council. Maybe the new council could look at that in the future, because we will be requiring more than one apparatus in the near future, no doubt. Okay. Both our machines are very, serving us very well, but they're getting up there in age.
And we are.
Okay, so what could you add to that?
Mr. Worship,
After working reserves, you've added
for immediate purchase.
for immediate purchase? Okay,
Be available for immediate
be
purchase.
available for immediate purchase.
And should we designate to whom it would be available, like perhaps the fire chief
Yeah.
or his designate?
Plus, the fire department are throwing in $10,000 of their own funds also. So
Yes.
it's not a bad gesture on their part either.
I was thinking of asking to raise it to 60, but if they've got the 10 to go in, that probably covers that
Mhm.
consideration.
All in favor? Carried, thank you very much. Okay, motion to discuss proceeding with contribution agreement with NOHFC for funding for Cobalt Wellness Center, given recent increases in projected expenditures for 2022. Be it resolved that the town of Cobalt forgoes signing the commitment contract documents for the wellness project, and that the province be petitioned to set aside final decisions pending direction from next term of council for their 2023 consideration. Mover and seconder. Angela and Mr. Hughes. Discussion. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea at this point to forego it. We set a budget for it, and back, should have been happening at the beginning of COVID. The prices are way out of line, so that would mean that the government would only give us the 90,000 or so, and we would be responsible for all the rest. Well, we're gonna be responsible for a lot more than that other 10,000. So we need to sort of rework, reapply, and so that we can be able to afford it. Because I think the project is great.
Yeah.
People are asking for it, everyone really wants it, but we can't bankrupt the town trying to do it.
No. And in lieu of our last, our news from the fire department about our apparatuses, it makes a lot of common sense as far as I'm concerned also. And I just want to let you know that the transit committee are going to be entering into negotiations with Stock, and we have no idea what's going to come out of that either. So I think it makes perfectly good sense to let the new council decide how much they want to get into it, what they want to do. Any other? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Motion for support of Phenom Concerns RE Justice System. Be it resolved that council supports Phenom's creation of a northern working group to focus on the issue of catch and release justice, and supports the group bringing these concerns to the province during the upcoming AMO conference in August. And further, that a copy of the resolution be forwarded to Phenom. Mover and seconder, please. Angela and Doug. Is there any discussion on this motion? None whatsoever. All in favor? Thank you very much. 9.4, a motion to fill a vacancy to the Cobalt Public Library Board, Paul Penna Library. Whereas a vacancy became available at the Cobalt Public Library Board, and whereas individuals were asked to submit their interest to the Cobalt Public Library Board for review, be it resolved that council approves the recommendation of the Cobalt Public Library Board, Paul Penna Library, and appoints Helen Culhane to the Cobalt Public Library Board. A mover and a seconder, please. Doug and Angela. Any discussion? Go ahead.
I think she'll be a very good addition.
Absolutely.
She's pretty active.
Pretty active and very knowledgeable lady.
Yeah, excellent, excellent.
All in favor?
I was gonna say too.
Wait, that's what you're gonna say too?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Be nice to
I'll let
see
you
you come
talk.
back and swing of things there.
All in favor? Thank you very much. Misdemeanor drug and alcohol strategy, 9.5, International Overdose Awareness Day, August 31st, 2022. Whereas the corporation of the town of Cobalt does affirm and acknowledge the harm and hardship caused by drug overdose, And whereas we recognize the purpose of International Overdose Awareness Day as remembering loved ones lost to overdose and ending the stigma of drug-related deaths, and whereas we resolve to play our part in reducing the toll of overdose in our community, which claims the lives of over 4,000 Ontarians in 2021, together with countless more affected forever. And whereas from January to June of 2022, there have been 7 suspected drug-related deaths compared to 4 deaths during the whole of last year in Temiskaming Health Unit region. And whereas we affirm that the people affected by overdose are our sons, our daughters, our mothers and fathers, our brothers and sisters, our friends, and deserving our love, compassion, and support. Therefore, I, George Ottler, do hereby proclaim August the 31st, 2022 as Overdose Awareness Day in the Corporation of Town of Cobalt. And I might add that it was 7 deaths till the end of July, or June. So it may have gone up, we're not quite sure. A mover and a seconder, please. Pat and Doug. Any discussion on the issue? Go ahead, Doug.
The only thing I would like to say, and as important as this statement is, I'm not sure how far it goes for us to be actually managing the problem, helping the people. It's an area that I know is very difficult. We looked at a number of options and trying to put them in place is difficult. But I think we should continue to do more than just this particular resolution, certainly something to the province, urging further help, halfway houses, all kinds of things that would be helpful. Just saying.
Thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Items for council information, we have none. We have a resolution, be it resolved that council accept the items for council direction. Obviously, we have none, so we don't need that motion. Item 10, bylaw. Bylaw 2022-16, amendment to users fee bylaw, RE tax registration file. Whereas bylaw now 2020-50 being a bylaw to establish a user's fee for the town of Cobalt facilities and services includes Schedule C administration rates. And whereas costs associated with tax registration files are not currently included. Now therefore be it resolved that bylaw 2022-16 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2020-50 Schedule C to include administration costs associated with tax registration files will be taken as read a third time and finally passed the 16th day of August 2022. And further that said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. A mover and a seconder, please. Gary and Pat. Is there any discussion on the bylaw? All in favor? Thank you much. 10.2, excuse me. Bylaw 2022-19, swimming pool and fences. Be it resolved that bylaw 2022-19 being a bylaw to provide for the owners of privately owned outdoor swimming pools to erect and maintain fences be taken as read a first, a second, and a third time and finally passed the 16th day of August 2022. And further that said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. Who were in a seconder? Pat and Angela. Is there any discussion on this? Go ahead, Doug.
Just a question, Your Worship. I've read the bylaw and it seems at first glance to make good sense. I understand self-closing gates and self-locking gates and reasonably high fences and no overhanging structures and that kind of thing. But I'm not a builder, and I'm just wondering, has this bylaw been checked out by our property standards bylaw people or building inspector or any of those types of people?
I'm not sure. When we looked at it, we can double check on that though. Yeah. And we can bring amendments forward if
Okay.
that's required. Okay. Any other? All in favor? Against?
Not really, there's no opinion.
Okay, no opinion, okay. Agreed. 10.3, bylaw 2022-20, amendment to agreement with Pete Gilbo for the province. Provisions of bylaw enforcement officer for town of Cobalt to include the title property standards officer. Whereas under section 8 of the Municipal Act, SO 2001 C25 as amended, the powers of a municipality under this and any other act shall be interpreted broadly to confer broad authority on the municipality to enable the municipality to govern its affairs as it considers appropriate and to enhance the municipality's ability to respond to municipal issues. And whereas under Section 9 of the Municipal Act SO 2001 C25 as amended, a municipality has the capacity, rights, powers, and privileges of a natural person for the purpose of exercising its authority under this and any other act. And whereas under Section 10-1 of the Municipal Act SO 2001 C25 as amended, a single-tier municipality may provide any service of things that a municipality considers necessary or desirable for the public. Now, therefore, the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Cobalt enacts as follows. 1, Pete Gilbo's title be amended to include Property Standards Officer in the original bylaw included in Schedule A. Any comment or a mover and a seconder, I guess? Angela and Pat, is there any discussion on this? All in favor? Carried. Okay, item 11, general business, schedule of accounts. Be it resolved that council receive the following schedules as presented. Schedule number 2022-14 in the amount of $174,092.33. Schedule number 2022-15 in the amount of $262,971.68. A mover and a seconder, please. Pat and Gary, any discussion on schedules? Questions? All in favor? Thank you very much. Motion for which prior notice has been given. We have none. Mayor's report. I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about an incident we had last week at our water plant. Unfortunately, we had a major outage at the water plant. We got hit by, we're not sure what it is, lightning, I believe. It caused some serious damage. In fact, our water plant was down. We were literally dead in the water. Our water plant was down. We could not make water. Our holding tank at the north end was half full, which gave us enough water to last possibly the night into the next day for a little bit. But if it wasn't for the fact that we had Aqua on site, they saved this municipality from a major water boil, as far as I'm concerned. Because Aqua had 3 people on cell phones while I was there myself. Town manager Steve Daly was there, and so was Supervisor Aaron Williams. And those people were scrambling. We're getting parts from everywhere to get this plant of ours up and running. Computer was down, nothing was going at all. We could not even turn a pump on. That's how drastic it was. Aqua worked through the night with their people, found parts that would get us up and running, and we're back on stream. We're back making water. And it's all good. There's still some work that needs to be required, but several important items to the operation of the plant were fried, and we were fortunate enough to get them replaced. Gentleman, that contractor that they know left Hamilton that evening, drove out through the night to get here in the morning to get our SCADA up and running. So we're pretty fortunate that he had that kind of help on hand. And technically, we would have, I don't think we would have been lost as far as I'm concerned. Just to let everybody know that we didn't, we avoided a major bullet. Any questions, comments, concerns? Notice of motion? You have none? Councillor updates? None? Council question and answers? None? Okay, we're going to move into a closed session. Be it resolved that council convene in closed session as per section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended in order to address matters pertaining to subsection 2, labor relations or employees negotiations. A mover and a seconder, please. Pat and Gary. Is there any discussion on it? No? All in favor? Thank you. We'll take a short break before we move into the closed session, and then we'll get down to business. Any business arising from this session, the direction you've got clear direction on which way we're doing, okay? 19, be it resolved that the regular meeting of council be adjourned at 8:07. Moved by Doug and second by Angela. All in favor? All in favor.
I waited until you put your hand up.
Yes.
Very kind of you.
Didn't want to get that look
Thank you,
again.
ladies and gentlemen.
It's only taken 3.5 years.
Okay, so